Welcome back, Ciaran, and here we are for the next episode of the 2D Social Podcast. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. I'm all right. Getting over the lurk. How are you?
Well, I'm suffering from a lack of jelly beans and other intro.
You got that no one sent a bowl of jelly beans in.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, isn't it? Here we are back again for episode 10.
I'm amazed you can count.
We've reached double figures.
Yeah, we have.
I can count.
No, I mean, I realised how derogatory that sounded after I'd said it. But, I mean, you could remember which ones were which.
Believe it or not. But all that time ago, we done our little pilot.
We did.
Pilot expose into the life of you and I meeting at an airport in was it Barcelona?
It was Barcelona.
Not Amsterdam, that was a different show.
Yep.
Same show, different place.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
But yeah, we've had a journey.
It has been a journey.
We've understood things.
Oh, well, you keep understanding things.
Well,
That's
we've
one
met
of
some amazing people.
We met some incredible people.
Highlight.
Ooh. Highlight, I reckon, the honesty and the vulnerability across the whole board from everyone. Like, because some of the people, like from the outside looking in, like the people that are listening to this or watching it, if you're really bored, are looking at it and going, well, there's clearly an interaction from one of us to one of our guests. But what they probably don't know is that you either knew the guest or I knew the guest, but the other one didn't know the guest. Or some of it was been like, well, actually, neither of us really know you at all. And we've still gone and done it. And for those people to feel comfortable and confident enough to share personal journeys, stories, you know, things that they've experienced, not experienced, some of it's been really, really close and personal. That's an incredible thing, you know.
Do you think we created a safe space for that?
Yeah, by accident. I don't think it's something that we could cognitively do if we tried. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but yeah, it's all about intent, isn't it? We didn't go out to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I mean,
I just enjoy
you feel
it.
uncomfortable right now because we're on camera and you've got a hole in your t-shirt that I've noticed. Oh, look. 20 years. 24-year-old t-shirt.
Yeah, man.
I'm informed.
Red Hot Chili Peppers brand ice cream. Yeah. Well, I said I might actually, 24 is probably stretched. It's probably 23. It would have been from like V 2000, 2001.
Oh, it's a merch t-shirt as well.
Yeah, merch t-shirt, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. Can't find it. I've tried to buy another one, but I bought this out the drawer specially.
Challenge your viewers. Challenge. Let's find Ciaran.
Another one of these. Or if you really love me, find the Pearl Jam with the avocado on the front. I would say in a medium, but I'm getting a bit tubs because of the beer. So I need a large.
You don't drink, do you?
I love a drink, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I thought you were off the bear.
No, I do like a beer and a wine.
Completely on the wine.
Do you know what? That is a thing that's actually going on at the moment. A lot of people are cleaning up their lives. People are wanting to live healthy, specifically since COVID. Everyone's like, I need to pay more attention to my health. I've gone the opposite way to that because I like doing that normally anyway.
So you've intently gone about killing yourself?
Yeah. Just drink a bit more. No, I think it's one of those things like everything in moderation, including moderation. If you like a beer, have a beer. If you don't like a beer, don't have a beer. It's like you do you.
I do me.
You do you because you don't drink a lot, do you?
No, not interested. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. I just crack in, get on with.
Yeah, you just
make a wally of myself wherever I am.
Yeah. You don't
need a lager.
You don't have that filter, do you?
No, but again, playing the room, playing the audience. Sometimes as a sales professional. Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you're professional.
You got to adapt. I mean, we started our conversation 10 episodes ago with the business laugh.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
We did. And, you know, how many times have you had to deploy the business laugh since that moment?
I don't deploy the business laugh.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I get told off for my laugh as it is.
No, I've seen you deploy the business laugh now.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's like a phone voice, though, isn't it?
You're doing it.
Phone voice. It's like a cake for a superhero.
Because everyone's like, oh, Ciaran, wow, you're so worthy. Worthy. And there it is. Business laugh taken straight from the horse's mouth.
You've just done me, haven't you?
Absolutely. Do you know how?
You knew it was happening.
No. But that's perception and, one of the biggest things for sales, like you talk about it all the time, like networking, being with people, experiencing, everybody from all different areas, walks of life, doesn't matter. There's no agenda to start with.
The weirder the better.
Yeah, and listening, that was always the key thing to it, wasn't it? But like it's interesting being an observer sometimes.
Yeah.
And we've had a few moments that I think are quite interesting for us as a little partnership, or us as colleagues. Or
I was hoping you were going to say couple, but you didn't, and you've missed a moment. So I'm burnt.
Sorry. Where was we? Because we were going somewhere.
We were talking about listening and observing.
Yeah, and we've been in a few situations, and this is quite interesting. I've done a talk a little while ago for Production Futures, which is called "Not Your Average CEO," and
Chief Entertainment Officer,
whatever you want to be known as, and that was born out of a question from a young person who was sort of bemused by a business card that he was handed by somebody that he didn't think looked like.
Oh, the old judgy
stereotype of what the CEO looks like, i.e., a female, and
how dare she?
Yeah, like he just questioned, like, oh, you're a CEO, what does that mean? And there was a really good discussion about that. But seeing that played out in sort of daily life is quite funny. So, and I'm not precious, and this is where it becomes interesting. Like some people want to be known as the
CEO.
Hi, I'm the CEO, and they'll deploy their business laugh at the right moment. Ha ha ha.
It's ego, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I'll step back and let you do your thing quite happily, and I'll just be introduced. Hello, and I don't need to interfere with the conversation. I don't need to really even engage past that, because you're all over it. What do I specifically add to the moment? And if people, there are stereotypes, there are judgments. You've got your phone off of silent.
That's not me. That's producer Laurie. What have you done? Shame on you.
Do not disturb mode engaged.
No, that one's on silent or airplane or...
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We had a ping.
A ping?
We live in the social media world.
Yeah, I hate it.
People contacting us all day long. It's hard work.
It is hard work. There's too many methods of communication now. Makes me feel mad. Like, I struggle to focus. I don't know about you. I struggle to focus at the best of the time because that's the way that I am as a person. But if I'm working and then it's like I've got conversations happening on LinkedIn from someone going, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? What do you think of this? Can we have a meeting there? Can you come and do a demo? I've got that happening. I've got 2 different WhatsApp chats, or not chats rather, but 2 different WhatsApp profiles. Both of them get used with work. I've got different people contact me on one different on the other. So I've got that. Then I've got text messages with 2 different numbers, 2 different phones, and emails. I don't even know what day of the week it is most of the time. So I can be in the middle of a project and then something's going on and I'm getting a ping from here and a ping from there and a ping from here and a ping from there. And I'm like, hang on a minute, what was I doing? And I don't know when I ever come back to it. Like I'm like, oh, I've lost my mojo now. I was reading an article the other day. They reckon if you get distracted like that, it will take on average 15 to 20 minutes for you to refocus and to get back into the project to where you were before to be able to do it. But in that scenario, in the world of modern technology, you go, right, it's taken me my 20 minutes to get back in. I'm now back in. 2 minutes later, it happens again. Oh, here we go. I'm back out.
Do you know what that then leads me on to is back to being the CEO or whatever, but sitting in a position of operating and managing, owning a number of different companies, having a growing team of staff to ensure they're safe, looked after, and happy to be at work every day. That distraction level comes in different ways, and like that's you as with one job to focus on, and extrapolate that up to like 50 jobs.
How'd you cope with that?
Well, you don't, and that's why I've got Louise, who's an amazing PA, because actually I don't think I could, because it's too vast. And now, like there's, and we often talk about this, how many platforms of communication and routes to achieve contact do you really need?
There's a lot of different methods to get in contact.
Why do we need all of that? It doesn't make sense, really, does it?
Someone's selling us it, aren't they? Going,
or is it just preference? Because actually, like,
some people love communicating like that. That's fair.
Yeah, but like the different platforms all have their own little nuances and quirks and abilities, don't they? So like the combination of all of them together means that we're communicating, but probably most of it is because we don't actually sit together very much. And this is one thing that came up quite a lot over the last few months is having a big team of people is great. Having a remote team of people,
still great, but it has different challenges, doesn't it?
Yeah, and actually bringing people together has to become, and this is the conversation that goes on in the AV industry, workspace environments, providing, good opportunities for people to work from home. People don't want to come back to an office and all that sort of stuff. But it's madly inefficient in communicating to be all remote.
And there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of drivers and reasons.
I think it's inefficient. Some people will argue that, obviously, but
I think for knowledge sharing, and if you're having a shit day, and you're at home,
if you're having a shit,
well, if you're having a shit, I mean,
you still work.
Yeah, you can still work. I've done some of my best emails like that. No, but all seriousness, if you're having a shit day and you're at home, like I work in a shed in the garden, and that makes me laugh when I think about some of the things that I've done for work, some of the things that I've created, I've drawn, I've helped design, problems I've solved. I'm like, that's had an impact on the other side of the world. And I'm a plonker sitting and working in a shed in Norfolk. I find that whole idea funny.
But it's a space.
Exactly, it's a space.
It's a non-entity as well. It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter where you do it.
It don't matter where you are, because it's all to do with your capabilities. But my point was, it's like, if I'm having a shit day and I'm in my shed at home, no one sees that I'm having a shit day. I know I'm having a shit day. But if I'm in the office and I'm feeling like that and I'm having a shit day, you're going to look at me because of your perception and because of your openness, and you're going to go, "You're right, mate. You don't see myself." So it's like we lose a lot more than just the supposed productivity. Yeah. Those, I mean, a lot of people call them water cooler moments. That's an American coin phrase, isn't it?
We haven't got a water cooler.
No, we've got taps.
Apparently someone's given us a free trial of one of those, which I think is quite interesting.
Free trial of a water cooler?
A couple of weeks.
Oh, man, I feel like I've made the big time.
Isn't it something?
It's awesome, yeah.
You've won when a free water cooler appears for 2 weeks, and then you sign up to a subscription. Yeah.
Yeah. How much are we paying?
Don't know. We're not going to have it, really.
No, but that whole idea, the just the checking in, or when you're not sure on something, you go like, "Oh, so and so said this. How would you read that?" It's the age old thing about, like, you read any book, the Bible, I don't know, the dictionary, whatever. You get a word out of it, or you get a sentence or a phrase, and you go, "What do you think of that?" And he goes, "I think that means he said kill the goat." And you're like, "No, I thought that said save the woman, eat the goat. I thought that said kill the woman and eat the goat." And you're like, "Well, I've got 4 or 5 different interpretations out of this one little passage," because we all interpret the information in a different way. But I think when you're together, you can navigate that so much easier.
Well, you don't need to read something.
No, well, you can just read it out loud and go, "What do you think?"
Yeah, but context can be given immediately from the source.
Yeah.
So instead of reading an email, a text message, Teams, WhatsApp, text, blah, 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 the list goes on, LinkedIn, like, "Hello, what's your message?"
I've never heard one.
Is it in a bottle?
Sting reference. Love a bit of Sting.
But I think there's a big part of it that when the people that are complaining about working from home or not being able to work from home, people who are being told to come back to offices, the people that are complaining about that, they aren't the people that actually have to pay those wages. And I think that's the really difficult part to navigate, is that it's very easy for people to complain about things, but when you've got the responsibility...
We're British, mate. We love complaining.
Yeah.
We're British.
Just generalist.
Yeah. Okay. But specifically where we live in the geography of the world.
We're British. We can call it what we like. Doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah. I'm a mongrel, right? So, yeah.
What's the dictionary definition of that?
It's just like lots of different things squashed together that don't make a pure breed.
Okay. Like bubble and squeak.
Yeah, I'm that version of humanity.
The bubble and squeak of humanity.
Yeah, that bit that you leave in the pan that you go...
The leftovers.
Goes, like, I don't have the stomach for that bit, mate.
I'm never going to go into the leftovers where you go from. Whoa! Dear, oh dear.
Can't be helped.
That's good.
There's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, my point was British people love to moan. We moan about everything. We've got like how many different ways of describing rain?
Do you get up in the morning on a Saturday, put your tea towel over your shoulder and stand outside and look at the neighbours and be like, oh, you're all right?
No.
Do you get home and ask what they've had for their tea? What have you had for your tea?
No. Normally, to be fair, I get on so well with my neighbours. If I pull down the driveway,
You're not northern enough.
if I pull down the driveway, my neighbour will be shaking a can of Stella at me, going like, "Do you want a beer?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I probably do want a beer, especially if it's a Friday." My mentality has always been to wash away the week of work for a mental reset. But I don't need to wake up on a Saturday and go like, "What are you doing?" Because I often get woken up with, "Brian, you," which is by my other neighbour, Sam.
I mean, to be fair, the word is used. Let's just put it out there. Everyone's going,
It's one of my favourite words.
but it is what it is. It's used on ITV.
It was by accident.
Well, the
People
BBC
talking about
are
Jeremy Hunt, weren't they?
Oh,
See? Yeah, that was
you've
great.
gone for a political reference. Why did you do that?
Because I can't stand a man.
But why? Do you know him?
No.
Exactly.
I just look at his actions and that's all I need to do to determine my opinion.
So there's a good idea. So you want to get into a political conversation.
Oh, God, what step have I made for myself?
We've had a general election since...
Yeah.
I'm going to let you have this moment. We've resisted 10 episodes, well, 9, to talk about politics.
Yeah.
I've not allowed that conversation to roll, but we have had a general election in this period of time.
Yeah.
And there's a change, rightly, wrongly, don't really care. So that interpretation of an MP. So I have now, in this period of time, also gained experience of personally interacting with
an MP. You have, haven't you?
Yeah. And do you know what? It was absolutely excellent. And I have no political affiliation, so I don't vote one way or another because of staunched history as a whatever. I have no political connections or ties, don't care. That person was contacted via their standard sort of routes of communication.
Pigeon. He's like making smoke signals out in the bush.
All right, there. We've got a message on my foot. I don't know why I've got West Country for the privilege, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So I interacted with this MP, sent an email into their office, got an immediate response back. For context, I had a lot of problems with my son's school, and I'd exhausted most of the standard routes of communication with them. There was, in my eyes, perceived injustices being delivered, and I needed some help. And where do you actually turn to for that? The job of the MP is to help with local issues. The response I got was absolutely spot on, fantastic. It was measured, time was given, and the outcome was that the
positive outcome.
Absolutely, a really strong shift of communication back from the school. And actually, if that's my one experience with
that's a good experience.
And like most MPs, there is plenty of people who will give a negative picture, but without that actual first-hand experience. So what do I need that MP to do? Represent me. When it came to representation, it was delivered faultlessly. And I mean, I don't know the history enough behind everyone's sort of angst against this person, but
what, as in the MPU contacted?
Yeah, everyone's very dismissive. Oh no, can't do that. Don't like that person. Just like you said, no, I absolutely hate him. But
that's the interesting thing with like the social bias or your construct. What, like something I'm passionate about, like not being a dick and like helping people.
Sorry, what?
Not being a dick. Like, I mean, I can't help it.
What?
A dick.
Want to say it again?
Yeah.
What's a dick?
Penis.
What's penis?
Oh.
You can't see how you can say things, but actually, like, we just drop them into conversation without really thinking about those contexts, and like that in itself does or doesn't make a person. So you've got a great reputation as being that funny guy. Fun guy.
Fun guy. I am a mushroom man.
Oh, mate. And then just too much. They tell you not to work with children. I'm working with both at the same time. I will not get an Oscar for this performance.
None of us are getting an Oscar.
So, you know, we get led into conversation, and we're almost enticed to speak for reaction.
Yeah.
You think?
I think there is definitely like sensationalism or sensationalization. Is that a thing? Have I just added an externalization?
It doesn't matter if you...
I mean, the dictionary changes all the time, doesn't it?
Matter, does it?
So, yeah. I think there's an element of that, especially in the world of like, look at me, look at my phone. I mean, I saw something that made me like nearly die with laughter when I was in London the other week. It was so good. There's a young black lady, rather attractive, walking down the road, and she was filming herself for what I'm presuming is Snap, Gram, something, some I don't care about. But that's fine. That's her gig. So she's going down the road and she's filming herself going out, I'm like, here, I'm in London, I'm doing this kind of thing, going through the thing. And then she walks out into a road and nearly gets hit by a car because she was paying so little attention to her surroundings. Now, I could have done anything to interject. Obviously, she didn't die. No one was harmed in this story. But I just stood and thought, like, that's perfect Darwin Awards. If you are so wrapped up in whatever this message is that you're trying to put out, which no one cares about, bears no relevance to anyone, that you're actually going to walk out in front of live traffic, you deserve to get hit by it. That's it. Now, that's my opinion, and a lot of people look at it and go, you're a harsh bastard. But I stand by it. That's natural selection, you know.
What was the relevance of her being black?
Oh, no, that's just because... I don't know.
It's a question that
I don't honestly know. That's just because I suppose in my head, I'm picturing the street I was on. I'm picturing her face. I can tell her hair was like, she had like awesome pink braids that started about halfway up. And that was like the snapshot bit I saw.
I'm throwing it at you because
no, throw it out.
No, because I think it's something, you know, these things happen all the time, and
they do.
Like, when you're talking about cultural biases, and stuff like that. That was the exact situation that was going on in the school. There was, you know, unconscious bias being delivered every day of the week, and whether people believe it exists or not.
Oh God, it exists.
It absolutely does. But it exists everywhere. So like everybody does.
Everyone's got it for everything.
Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of it's like a safety mechanism, isn't it? It's like your body's internal risk assessment. You look at a situation and think, you know, we go back to like cave people. That's inclusive. Go cave people time. You'd go like
which era are we talking about?
I don't know, like years ago. But is it gonna eat me? Is it gonna f me? Can I f it? Or you know what I mean? And that's where your head is. Like so, and you've still got that in your lizard brain. You're going, is it gonna eat me? Is it not gonna eat me? Like, is it gonna f me up? Can I f it up? You're constantly going, and every time you have an interaction, whether that be like different demographic groups, different ages, different like class structures, you get an experience. And if you have a bad experience, your brain as a safety mechanism goes, I'm going to put that in a little box over there because that's going to protect you.
Fight or flight.
Yeah, or freeze.
World.
Yeah. And with like the noise that we have within like culture, society at the moment, you get so much of it and there's so many different narratives thrown at you. You create biases all the time. So it's like, you know, you might have a bias towards posh people. You might hate people that walk spaniels. It could be anything.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I really dislike people who walk spaniels.
Yeah, there you go. You might love XL bullies.
How very dare they walk a spaniel?
Exactly, fascists.
What?
Yeah, you might have that thing, and that could be you.
No,
I can't believe you don't like.
I'm going to have to correct it because I can't have that out there on film.
Yeah, but it's one of them.
I have no preference for the dog that you walk. I don't care.
No, but and equally, like you said, like you know. Why did you say she was black? It was like, well, I'm not black, but in my head, if I was describing her, like if I was just my wife is white, my kids are white. In my mind, the differentiator, as I looked at her in a snapshot of a second, was like, well, she's black, and that sat in my head as that. But equally, if she was ginger, I'd gone ginger girl.
Well,
I've assumed her gender that without fucking that up. That's another can of worms. You know, like you got a race can, you got that can.
I've let you have politics, but we're not going to go.
No,
into that.
You don't want. That's what. But that's what I mean. Like we were saying earlier, like we're in a world of being offended and like being triggered and being victimized or being a victim and me, like off. I totally get you need to stop it, and all the bad stuff is bad stuff. when you get to the point when you can't call a Mars bar because it's like, well, have you thought about how Snickers feels about that? It's like, just do one.
Well, they're on a marathon either way, aren't they? Too easy.
My personal opinion. Yeah.
So let's get back on the Milky Way and go for a galaxy.
Oh, I love a galaxy.
I do. It's a better chocolate.
I love galaxy. I like the chocolate around a Malteser. That's just like...
Oh, no. See, that's...
It's Mars chocolate, that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that why it's so malty?
Do you know, and a lot of people know this, but the Mars group, which
Say it in a
is...
better voice.
Not a lot of people know this, but the Mars Group, which I believe currently owned by Mondelez, I think that's them.
I might be doing them a disservice, but they've got the whole supply chain wrapped up. So they will also own like Saprina and premium dog brand foods like Pedigree Chum or something that everyone else is aware of. So they have the whole cycle wrapped up from
family treats just given out from top.
Yeah. So you're buying your Mars bar and your Galaxy and your whatever other chocolates are available. You're buying all of that and you think that's awesome. And they're feeding that on one side of what they get the produce with, and on the other side, which is not fit for human consumption, goes straight into animal food. And they're all owned by the same conglomerate at the top.
But isn't that just good business practice?
It could be good business practice.
But, you know,
is it good for the consumer? Is it good for the produce? Is it good for ultra-processed food? Is it good for conglomerates? Is it good for monopolies? Probably not.
Well, but you just said you enjoyed it.
I'd enjoy that chocolate, yeah.
So what's the problem?
There isn't one. It's just...
It got there. It got in your hands. It was available for you to purchase. And you like it. And
chocolate. I love chocolate.
And you like it because you've been given the opportunity to experience it every single day of your life, pretty much, other than probably when you were a baby and your mum said, no, don't give Ciaran the chocolate.
She's never met my mum.
Give him the chocolate.
Shut him up.
And that availability, the modern post-war world and blah, 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 and changes to Britain,
okay.
the empire,
what's
moving chocolate around,
What's
cocoa.
the most important meal of the day?
The first one that you have, but it doesn't necessarily have to be at the time that people specify.
Oh, nice. I like that. Good dodge.
Hey.
You should work in politics.
I've been told that.
Yeah, like T-foul.
I genuinely
Genuine.
believe that I would make a good politician.
I think you would.
But I draw the line.
What line?
The line of politics. I don't want to be a politician. Like I love doing what I do. Like I don't need to dilute that or change it for anybody. Like that's
Yeah.
Do I care enough about the world? Yes. Do I care enough about everybody? No.
Yeah.
Because I think I have to do me first sometimes,
You have to.
We're touching on subjects that are so far away from realistically what we are here for. And I tell you what we're here for.
To
be
heard.
Social.
And social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a platform.
It is a platform. But it's like, what do you do with that platform?
Well, I mean, there are multiple ways that you can use the world in its intellectual properties and technology to disperse information, truths, untruths, hate, love.
I love a bit of love.
But I'm still intrigued as to why you would be bothered by somebody so much that you don't personally know based on perceived actions that you don't actually fully know.
I've not experienced it with my own eyes.
Yeah, that's why I wonder why you would be. Why would you waste time?
I don't think it's. Oh, it's a really good way to put it. It's a good way to put it.
Like we've talked about this before. This is a good link into like business, freelancing, swapping time for money. Yeah. So your time's precious.
Yep. Everybody's time is precious.
We talked about this. Is you have a finite amount of something, and time was the one, the most. The most that you can give somebody is your time, and yet you're there wasting it on someone that the likelihood of you meeting is pretty low unless you go
looking.
Yeah. The likelihood of you having any positive interaction with that person clearly is going to be pretty low because no matter what they say, you've already made your assessment and assumption. You've made yourself judge, jury, and
executioner
all in one go.
If I got the chance.
Yeah, you're willing to go and look at somebody in that much detail to achieve an outcome of 0.
Yeah.
and then
Do you know what? I think
despise that person enough to...
I don't. Do you know what? In all honesty, I don't despise them. I don't hate them because they're not worth the time. And that is the reality of it. So as a flippant statement, I'm really, really bad. Something that I'm as a conscious thing I work on as a human and as an adult is broad, sweeping, stupid statements. Because, and this is something like you say about being observant. My wife has said to me loads of times. She's like, Ciaran, you're actually quite intelligent, but you make yourself look really stupid because your anger and your passion get in front of your intelligence, and then you say stuff that's bad.
I'm just interested into the thought process of where you end up at making that assessment of an individual that you've no actual physical contact with.
Because it's that age of thing. Like if it walks like a cat, it meows like a cat, and chances are it's a cat. You know, it's like, and it's that same thing. So you have we meet a lot of people, don't we? We meet a lot of people in sales. It's something that we're afforded as a luxury. It's something I really enjoy. I enjoy the genuine human interaction. I enjoy getting to know people, and I enjoy like forming proper lasting relationships.
Even in our little world of selling audio and stuff like that, you have clients. Those clients are connected to certain organisations. Those certain organisations could then well be connected to that person that you despise so much. Now, as your governor, boss, whatever, CEO.
Yeah.
One day, that job might come in and you'll be like, I've got this really interesting project. What happens to the moral compass when your living could then be, you're out there doing a job?
You should definitely be a politician. You're wasted.
I don't want to be a politician. It's a waste of time because I will achieve zero of...
Right. Turn it on its head. Why do you think it's a waste of time?
Because I've got a job to do.
You have got a job to do, but why do you think being a politician is a waste of time?
Because I've never had any interest in the politics.
I don't think the politicians have either.
Well, that's the sweeping statement. I'm sure.
Yeah, I know it is. I know there
are plenty that genuinely do care. I'm sure that when you dig down deep and find the people that really want to make a difference, there are those, but ultimately we can blame them for everything, but we also have to take a responsibility. So what's my personal responsibility to the world today? Well, it is to be a good person, not cause anybody any harm, just get on with my own shit.
Yeah.
And if I do that with as much conviction as possible, and that means being now responsible for other people's children. I have a personal responsibility for your children.
That's funny.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
Just by association.
Yeah.
And that's my job, and that is being a politician, because I have to be a politician or a statesperson or a counsellor or whatever to all of the people that are now sitting as part of our little ecosystem, and we're nothing. We're tiny. We're a blip in the broad compass of business and commerce.
We're all a blip, though. We're like ants on a rock that's doing 650 mile an hour through space.
But we don't know that either.
No, it's true. Oh, fuck, it could be flat.
You can't answer that question, and neither can anybody else. So if you're worried about those things, think of what that does to you in terms of time, sucking up time.
Sam, a brain is, eh?
But that's each individual. So I do what I do, and I enjoy it, and I have a real passion for making things happen in the way that I think they should. We're sitting here doing a podcast. It hasn't come out of nowhere. It's not just me and you sitting down one day, hey, why do we do a podcast? It's like, there's a particularly measured approach to getting towards the point of which we achieved one episode, and now we're sitting here doing episode number 10. That's a great thing.
It's good. It's been well good fun.
Journeys of discovery. But I don't want to represent the people. I mean, if someone said, could you do something for me? I'm happily there to do it. Not a problem. But would I want to do that under scrutiny? Nah. Do
you think that's the thing, though? That's like the polarising effect is the scrutiny. In fact, that I've probably brandished that individual.
You've got to be scrutinised for doing things properly. But again, it comes back to integrity. If you can stand up every single day with your integrity held high, doesn't matter what you do because you've always got that intact.
Yeah.
The people that cause themselves the problems are the ones that lose sight of what good integrity is and don't really, and because of the way that this sort of, I don't know, the structures of a capitalist society exist, it's all about driving opportunity for yourself.
Yep.
Which feeds the capital.
Yeah, I'm probably more of a communist by accident. Yeah.
There's a reason it kind of works to some degree.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But, I mean...
So it's about finding that balance. I did have a thought about this the other day. I was like, well, where are the places with, what countries or what territories exist where there is extremely low crime, where there's, health and people are living healthy lives. And we talked about processed foods, there's loads of stuff around, like how much food influences health because that then drives healthcare product sales and medicines. And
that's why I asked about the most important meal of the day, because that whole thing came from America. It was a marketing campaign to sell more pork. Yeah, and that came because after the war, the cereals, and they were like, we've got a massive surplus and we want to sell more, so do it. The whole thing about like eat your carrots because they help you see in the dark, which is a very British thing, is a marketing campaign that was led by the British government to trick the Germans into not realising that British had created like radar before the Germans had. So it's like, how are they bombing stuff in the dark? We eat our carrots. It's a marketing campaign to make a country you're at war with think the opposite thing, and then it's worked its way into the human construct in the mind, and then we're going, yeah, mate, eat your carrots, it can help your vision.
Well, that's interesting in itself.
It's mental, isn't it?
But the power of the message is the principal point. Hey, guess what? We sell loudspeakers, microphones, and other technology surrounded in the audio world, and it's great for entertainment technology and various other things such as installations into churches, schools, theatres, workplace environments, residential, super yachts, and other places of great interest.
That was really good.
Yeah, I just wanted to drop it in there.
Yeah, I like that.
For the fun of it, mate. Got to make a living.
What's your fucking pitch? Elevator pitch.
But in all of that, the message was lost.
It was.
Because what did it become about?
Ooh.
It became about me rambling at great speed.
Yeah, rather than...
what the actual product or service or anything.
So you're going to say like Sontronics is the most important meal of the day?
Yeah.
Or a K-Ray will help you see at night? It's interesting though, like as in the bit, as humans, like we said earlier about like the bias, the things that you experience throughout life that you latch onto, you refer to. Like I love a story. Storytelling, I think, is a fantastic art, and I think it's a really, really good way, especially as.
And it doesn't have to be delivered in the way that people think either.
No,
because when you say the word storytelling, that takes me back to like working in small theatres and stuff like that, where we used to get storytellers come in and they'd sit down and do all these amazing things, and the kids would sit there in awe and look at them like that. It'd be amazing. The lady would come on in an apron and bake gingerbread in front of the audience, but because of health and safety, she wouldn't be able to give it to them at the end of the show. What a great thing. Kids show. We're going to bake gingerbread all the way through. She'd give you the recipe card to go home and make it, but the lovely fresh baked gingerbread
goes in the bin.
Came out of it. No, it came to me.
You ate it?
Of course I did. I wasn't bound by the same health and safety legislation of public food health. No way. I'm not public. I'm part of the show.
That's storytelling.
That's storytelling, but that's storytelling for money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, charging it for a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like what we do on a daily basis, talking about, we have a lot of clients that will talk about how they want a space to feel. And we go, well, that's awesome. Like how something feels to you and how something feels to me is a different thing.
That's subjective.
But but being able to either show a picture, paint a picture with words, tell a story is a really nice way to actually explore what that experience or what that place needs to look or feel like in order to get to the bottom of what they're actually trying to achieve.
Yeah, and that's how, I mean, when we talk about being salespeople, how do people measure themselves in that process and going, as you progress in careers or a journey?
I'd like to say regress. regress and alienate.
You come here and gone backwards.
Yeah, no, no, not like that. You're digging a hole for yourself and trying to throw me in it.
Never.
Never. Have I ever?
Ever felt like this?
Yeah.
Because strangely happened.
Oh, going around the twist.
See?
Love that show.
Well,
Yeah.
my pants.
In a microwave. That was 80s, 90s gold.
It was a good program.
It was.
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Yeah.
So the idea of regression.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
No, but I mean, like, genuinely, like, we talk about, like, as a platform, we've got this. This has been a sprawling, like, you know, hilarious, there's no real topic podcast. I could have alienated half the people I know because they can interpret the information in a different way than the way it was intended. You know, like, we've got a sprawling conversation where we've covered, like, social bias and politics. And someone can go, well, my political views don't align with yours, and my social biases don't align with yours, and I have a perceived social bias of what you might have because of what you've just presented with the information you've given, which isn't actually one of my social biases, but it's just the way that it could have come across. So I could be alienating, you know, half of the people that are watching.
I am genuinely lost here.
Why? How could you be lost from that? Because, like, that's what I mean.
I don't know if I've got a brain overload of biases and contexts. And
let's say, looking through the window, I'm watching you. You're doing a video, right? Because we're filming this.
You're nosy. Or...
Yeah. I'm looking through the window because I'm nosy on that guy. Yeah, curtain
Tom.
twitcher. Yeah, Tom. Yeah, have a peep. Right, so I'm Tom, looking through your window, looking at this little world about what you're doing, and I've got an audio feed in. So not only am I watching the show, I'm listening, and I hear you turn around and go, oh, this was happening, that was happening, and I saw this, and this geezer did that, and I didn't like it. I'm only looking at that little window of information, and then I'm reacting and interpreting that information, and I have to take into consideration, if I'm being conscious, all of my personal social bias through my lived experiences on this planet, if it is indeed a planet and not some sort of game show. And then I apply that to this window, you know, that Tom is looking through, and the audio feed, and go, right, well, I think from this that Sam is a fascist, right? And you're like, me, I'm not a fascist, mate. You've got the wrong idea. Hang on a minute. You're way off. Come on, Sam. Exactly. You've gone like that, and rightly so. But the only bit of information I've got to go on is that window. But it's like, that's what I mean, though, that perception thing. It's like, knowing your audience is one thing, but like one of my favourite sayings in life, never argue with an idiot because they'll only drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. Thank you, Peter Finn. You first told me that years ago. Loved it, and I've used it loads of times.
Quote that was, wasn't it?
Well, it's so good, though, isn't it? You know, when you're trying to argue with a complete and utter moron, and no matter how many times you go, look, this is a cup. You can store stuff in it. If you turn out the other way, it'll fall out.
Put you on the spot for all these statements. See, this is the thing. Like, when you start, like, you know, you talked about biases. Define moronic.
Moronic.
I mean, I don't know the definition of the word.
Who is it? We'll get a phone.
Google.
Auntie Google, so we can't go wrong, right?
Whilst you're looking at that, I shall tell our audience about our other products and services.
Do it.
To be heard, our main business, which is a distributor of professional audio products. We distribute a range of products from KRA, Neostage, and Nanosonics.
Oh, right. So,
Is that good timing?
that was really good timing. That was really good, yeah. So, moron, M-O-R-O-N,
Yes.
Dictionary, Oxford Languages, noun, right?
I don't want the Oxford one, I want the Cambridge one. Because I think they're better.
Nice.
Closer.
Social bias.
Yeah, I know.
Here we go. See? Right.
But now it's Oxbridge.
Oxbridge.
But I know nothing about it. So there we go. We dropped into an immediate interpretation of what those people are.
You did.
Well,
I
did.
You did, see?
Yes.
Told you. And the window,
that-
Tom thinks you're a fascist.
Am I
What's
more
going
wrong?
on?
Come on, give it to me.
Noun, a stupid person. Full stop. In speech, smokes, we can't let these thoughtless morons get away with mindless vandalism every weekend.
Does not define that word.
A stupid person. Like I said, if you're going to walk in front of a moving car because you're not looking at
They've
it.
just given it exactly the same thing of like, there's no definition to that.
And, and the archaic version, according listening to this, would be a person of low intelligence, i.e. a stupid person.
But then that's coming from the dictionary that says that if you can read this, you're of a higher intelligence than those that can't. So if you can't read this, then you're a moron. who decides whether you've got higher or lower intelligence?
Ooh, so here's another bit. Look, the word moron was an official term in the early 1900s used to describe a person of low intelligence. So like a Luddite, you know? No, there'll be another slide on it. Specifically an adult with a mental age between 8 and 12. So that means I'm a moron because I've never got past 12. I self-identify as a moron.
But then that's about classifications and like giving things sort of places to sit for other people's biases to be given a platform of opportunity. Like
you're talking about class structure.
Well, yeah, basically
the social construct and the classes, like the nuances of a class system. There's someone out there with like a doctorate and a PhD that's actually been to university that can explain it a lot better than I can. But we have all of these little constructs within society that are very good at keeping people where other people perceive they should be kept. So we go, I'm going to create this box for you and I'm going to call you transphobic and I'm going to put you in that box over there because that's where I want to keep you, because I believe or perceive that your narrative could actually be quite disruptive to the current status quo. So because I believe that, I want to put you in that box and I want to leave you over there because that's good for the current status quo. And we do it with different demographics. We do it like religions, backgrounds, cultures, fashion trends. It's like there's so many different nuances within it, and that creates like a class system. And then out of that class system, you get to control a populace. Me as a father of two daughters that identify as daughters. I mean, I'm saying that because that's an in-family joke, but it's like me as a father of daughters. I'm passionate, and being married to a lady who is my wife is making it so that ceiling that exists culturally for women within certain industries specifically is removed. Anyway, my point was going to be what we do for sales. We go and meet people, and something that's interesting. We push product, so we go, these microphones are beautiful. Now, the microphones are beautiful, and they do exactly what they're designed to do. They record sound and enable you to capture it in a beautiful way, and they do it awesome.
It's more simplistic than that.
I know it's more simplistic, but my point was going to be is that there are other microphones, as we know. There are other microphones. There's lots of different microphones, and that do that, and lots of them do a different great job. But the reason that someone might want to buy this microphone might be because of me. It might be because of you. It might be because of you. It might be because of me. It could be because of a number of different things. But it's about building a relationship with the person that you're going to be selling to. And we've discussed like hot potato topics, and there's been some phrases and some social biases that will make people going, "Oh, that's a bit wonky." You wouldn't normally think that is my phone. Yeah, okay, call it out. You wouldn't normally think that would be a safe topic to discuss with someone that you've never met. I can't count the amount of people I've met through doing what we do work-wise. 5 minutes into meeting them, we are having a deep political debate about, I don't agree with this policy, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with this, what do you think about that? I think as people, we're naturally curious.
But are we? Or is that because part of me? Oh shit,
am I putting this on them?
Of conversation, like how you approach things,
have I been abusing? I've been mentally abusing people.
Genuine.
Oh no.
Is maybe, I don't know, it's a question, isn't it? Like, I don't think you go out there and go, haha, let's have a moment where we're going to hold the hot potato and we'll pass it back.
I just like hot potatoes.
Well, you don't.
Yeah.
Some people don't.
No.
Yeah. Depends what kind of potato. It's been really nice seeing you today, because I tell you what, we've had a really good conversation. Do you reckon we've had a good conversation?
I do.
Do you feel inspired to do more? I
do feel inspired to do more. I like these conversations. I like hot potato conversations, and one of the things I really like about hot potato conversations is if you're having it genuinely and honestly, off the back of it, you should go away and the old grey matter starts working, and then you will re-examine the way that you look at certain things. So you might have a social bias that you're conscious of. You might have a social bias that you're unconscious of. And that hot potato topic could make you aware of one that you're not aware of, or it might make you change the way that you look at one that you already have. And knowing what one you have and then knowing how you can change the response to something, that's a really, really good thing.
Being conscious.
Yeah, being conscious, being present.
Do better.
Do better.
Nice to see you. If you've enjoyed the show, please comment, like, share, subscribe, do all the wonderful things over there, here, there, bing, 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 bing.
If you've not enjoyed it,
Well,
thanks for watching.
Doesn't matter whether you've enjoyed it or not. If you've got this far, we're really impressed. Tell your friends, tell your mates, get involved. Do you want to be a guest? Join in.
That would be cool.
Anything else to add?
No, I want a pork pie cake.
Pork pie cake.
Yeah, like a wedding cake, but made out of different pork pie tiers.
What's that like? Percy the pig caterpillar.
Oh man,
That's a mess, isn't it?
yeah.
Bye.
Bye.